Buenos dias, all. You know what? It is a beautiful day here in the Northeast. Just 70 degrees, maybe a little 72, sunny, there's a breeze. Just when I woke up this morning, I was like, wow, you know, this is a great feeling day. I look good, I feel good, it feels good outside. I'm excited for today. And I think a lot of people get excited for a new day. And of course, a lot of Nintendo fans have been wondering, clamoring, where's the Nintendo Direct? We've heard so much stuff about Nintendo Directs for the month of June. People were 99.9% sure it was going to happen last week, and then it didn't happen last week. Everyone sort of shifted the goalposts. Oh, now it's the 28th or the 29th of June. Lots of industry insiders, people who like to hunt Metroids in outer space or something like that. I don't know. They all sort of jumped on this bandwagon of the 28th or 29th. I've even heard some things about there. But it's weird to me because it seems like all these industry insiders, all these people in the know, they completely missed something. There's a Nintendo Direct this week that we have just started. It happens on the 22nd, which is this upcoming Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So now everyone get excited. Everyone just finally, we get to see what Nintendo's doing in the second half of the year. We get updates on Nintendo games. We get announcements of new Nintendo games because, you know, let's be real. Maybe some people feel a bit burned by Mario Strikers Battle League and the general lack of content that game has. I mean, the online and indie games such as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge is way superior to that. But now we're going to learn about these games. We're going to see these games. We're going to sink our teeth into these games. But now there's people upset. Some Nintendo Switch owners have voiced concerns about this Nintendo Direct. Now, why would you do that? Why on God's green earth would you be concerned about a Nintendo Direct? I'm always excited for them. Well, there's a little bit of an asterisk next to this Direct. There's a little bit of something else going on with this Nintendo Direct because it's actually not a full-on Nintendo Direct. No, sir. No, sir. You want to learn about other games? You go to hell. Because there are two important franchises that we constantly talk about for the Nintendo Switch. And one of them needs its own presentation. Because this presentation is a 20-minute presentation simply on Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Now, let's get the jokes out of the way. Let's clear the rumors here. For some reason, everyone thinks I hate Fire Emblem. Everyone thinks I hate Xenoblade. That's not the case at all. That's not the case at all. I actually own the collector's edition of the Fire Emblem, the Famicom version that they translated. I own the collector's edition of that. I own the collector's edition of Xenoblade Chronicles X and Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I'm actually, when it comes to JRPGs, Xenoblade Chronicles X is one of my favorite JRPGs, I would say, of all time. I absolutely love that game. I love the setting. I love the scale system in that game. It's a really awesome game. I just like to see other stuff beyond that. But hey, you know what? I don't run Nintendo. Okay, I don't run Nintendo. We're getting a 20-minute presentation on Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Now, it's a little strange to me. I can understand it for the most part, but we have gotten a ton of different trailers for this game. People already know the characters, they know how the game is going to work, all this sort of stuff. If you're a big Xenoblade Chronicles fan, I'm sure you are well tuned in to what is happening with this game. This game has been well represented at other Nintendo Directs, random trailer drops, but now we're getting a 20-minute presentation strictly on this game. And I have to imagine it's for the battle system in the game. That's really the only thing that hasn't been heavily talked about yet, would be the battle system. Do you need 20 minutes to explain it? You know, probably not. They're probably going to show some other stuff there, but this obviously is a Nintendo Direct for just one specific game. And there's a lot of people online that are very upset by this. Now, does this mean that there's no other Nintendo Directs this month? Not necessarily. I do think that there could still be a Nintendo Direct taking place next week, but the problem is kind of the timing. I feel like if you're Nintendo and you come out there and you say, hey, we got a general Nintendo Direct this week, and then we got a Xenoblade Direct next week, like, I feel like that's a bit of an easier pill to swallow for a lot of people, because that way, you know, your Xenoblade Chronicles fans that want to learn every little interesting thing about the game get some information on it, but you still get the general Nintendo Direct out of the way so that people of other games and other genres and things like that can learn about these games. What's going to happen in this 20-minute presentation that couldn't really be cut down to a 5-minute presentation in a standard Nintendo Direct? I mean, obviously, we've seen that with games thus far on the Nintendo Switch. Not every Nintendo Switch AAA game that comes to us from Nintendo gets its own dedicated Nintendo Direct. More often than not, that's not the case. So obviously there's a lot of things to explain with Xenoblade Chronicles 3. But like I said, there's a lot of Nintendo fans that are upset by this I've seen two different reasons online. Some people are upset because, hey, they want that general Nintendo Direct. Some people are upset because they feel like this will get, heat on Xenoblade Chronicles 3, because now Nintendo fans are going to take their anger out on this game, and now this game people are going to be upset by and say, where's the general Nintendo Direct? That's what we wanted. We didn't want a Xenoblade Chronicles Direct. And really, if that's the case, if people get genuinely upset by this, then there's just something wrong with the individual. I don't think anyone, you can say whatever you want on Twitter. Twitter is the wild, wild west of information. Twitter is the wild, wild west of things that you could say and get away with saying, and you'll even get people that agree with you on things. Twitter is not a very good indicator of how the real world works. I say it all the time. I will continue to say it all the time. All because Johnny 316 42069 types a tweet that he's unhappy about this instead of a Nintendo Direct that's happening. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's a true statement. It doesn't necessarily mean that everyone agrees with his mentality on this, and he's now mad at Xenoblade because that's the game that Nintendo is doing the Direct for. However, I can understand the sentiment of where people feel a bit left out and maybe, let down by the fact that Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is indeed getting its own presentation, because there's so many other games out there that people want to know about. You got to remember, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 comes out next month. Like, this is a July game. This is a big July game for Nintendo. And that's a game that, I feel like, do you need to be sold on it? Is there enough stuff in there in this 20-minute presentation to where they're like, okay, we're gonna finally sell you on this game. You're not a JRPG fan? Well, we're gonna make you one, damn it. It's kind of like, I don't think so. I feel like Xenoblade Chronicles fans are going to pick up this game on day one. I feel like the casual audience will sort of trickle in, and people will enjoy it based on things like reviews and other people talking about the game and looking at gameplay and looking at videos on YouTube about it. I don't quite understand why the game is getting its own Nintendo Direct, especially when like I said, there's been so many trailers for the game. The game has been widely talked about. It releases in a month. What more do you really have to explain? But hey, I don't run Nintendo, okay? Xenoblade, great. Give me a Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Nintendo Direct. I want it. You know what? You should do a Fire Emblem 3 Hopes trailer as well for the Warriors game coming out too. We got to explain all that. Maybe this is in a perfect world. In a perfect world, we get the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Direct this week, and then next week we don't get a full-on Nintendo Direct. Instead, we learn about that new mainline Fire Emblem game that is leaked with the red and blue and stuff like that, where there's been pictures on it. The game is 100% complete. That is a perfect world to me. That is the ideal situation with all of this. That's what I want to see. And I think a lot of people want to see it. So don't worry about a few people on Twitter being upset that it's just a Xenoblade Direct and there's other games to talk about. Don't worry about that, Nintendo. Go full bore with this. This is the year of Xenoblade. This is the year of Fire Emblem. Obviously, I'm joking about some of these things. I'm talking sort of tongue-in-cheek, but I'm a fan of Fire Emblem. I'm a fan of Xenoblade. Those games are cool. I'm not saying that those games necessarily take away from development of other games. All I'm saying is Nintendo seems to be really focused on these two franchises all of a sudden, and kind of maybe forgetting about other franchises that maybe deserve a little bit of shine. But hey, you know what? You're getting your Nintendo Direct this week, you son of a bitch. It's just all about Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Who knows? Maybe Metroid Prime 4 will show up, because there's going to be people that are like, maybe there's some surprise games. Maybe there's going to be some other things. I do question why none of these awesome industry insiders on Twitter who seem to know every little damn thing about the video game industry couldn't pick up on the fact that this is happening. Couldn't pick up on that. None of your sources gave you stuff on that. That's kind of perplexing, but hey, what do I know? I'm just a jackass with a freaking camera, and a little basement here I got set up, and a computer who can edit videos. Well, I can't really edit videos, but I can basically edit videos to share my 2 cents on things. So I want to hear your feedback on this. Are you a Nintendo fan who is excited for this Nintendo Direct? Are you got it marked on your calendar? You're going to wake up early because it's 7 a.m. on the West Coast. So you might have to wake up a little bit early, get yourself some coffee, get yourself a little caffeine going, and then get all these awesome announcements about Xenoblade Chronicles 3? Or do you think that Nintendo maybe should have done a general Nintendo Direct before announcing and doing a Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Direct? Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. And as always, guys, thank you for watching this video. Hope you guys thoroughly enjoyed it. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share the video around, and spread the positivity and the good news of Xenoblade Chronicles 3, because we're getting this 20-minute Nintendo Direct, baby, and I am very excited for it. Very excited for it. And as always, I really just hurt my finger right there. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.